Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to First Cut. This is our spoiler review of Stranger Things Season 4, Part 1 and 2. We're going to get into both parts of the season because I am here with RB3 to break it down. We are Stranger Things fans from day one, and we are finally here to break down this crazy, super long season of Stranger Things. I did a Part 1 review on this channel without RB3, but now we are back to do a full, complete Part 2 review, RB3. We have to start, I think we have to start right where we left off, which is the finale of Season 4, Part 2. So, let's get into it, man, right away.
Finale, you want to start with the finale of
I want to start with
the
finale. Yeah.
Part 2 or Part 1? Okay, all right, so we're starting at the end.
Let's start at the end. Let's start right where we finished off. Having just watched the finale, as we just did, how are you feeling right now?
The finale was good. I mean, it was good. I mean, I thought, some reason I thought it was going to be a series finale. I mean, the way they set it up made it seem like this was going to be like the last season or whatever. But I guess they said there was going to be a season 5, according to like an open letter in like the Hollywood Reporter or something like that. So we're going to get more, and obviously it's set up for more. But I like the conclusion of the story. It still wasn't the best episode of the season, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, more. But yeah, I think they had some brighter spots in the penultimate episode. I thought there were some other brighter spots, like in episode 4 of the whole 4th season. So I thought it was, it was a good ending. It stuck the landing for being as hyped as it was for 2.5 hours, and it held my attention for the whole feature length, presentation. But I definitely, it wasn't like the most mind blowing. I see where it's going, but I'm hyped to see where it's going. But I that's where I land on that.
How do you feel about the runtime? Because I feel like the runtime is one of the biggest factors of this entire season, where a lot of people talked about how long these were going to be and how each episode was going to be over an hour, and that the finale was going to be literally like feature length, 2.5 hours. How do you feel about the runtime? Was it worth everything that they put into it?
I mean, I thought it was worth it. I mean, I thought it was pretty epic. I thought how many storylines that they have set up between Mike and Will and Jonathan, doing their piece of stuff with 11, and you have Max and Lucas and all that crew. So you have like 4 or 5 different crews like doing a bunch of different stuff. So it's a lot of intertwining storylines. So it paced out really well. Now I ain't gonna lie though, after the big conclusion of the adventure happened, and then we still had like another 30 minutes of time left, I was like, oh shoot, really? Like, is this gonna, so that's what made me think, is this gonna be like a series finale? Because are they gonna wrap it all the way up? But no, they have just so many things. They established so many things that they, tried to wrap up in like a pleasant way, which honestly, if you're gonna end the show with like Hawkins like being destroyed, and being ripped into pieces, I'm honestly just cool with that being like the way the season ended. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it ending at the 2-hour mark instead of the 2:30 mark, and then letting the reunion of like everybody, kind of happen at the beginning of next season or something like that, So, because I just felt like, that's why I felt like maybe this wasn't the most like dynamic episode, because I felt like it had a really interesting place that it could have ended on, but it still felt like, oh, we got to give like a satisfying, like rousing ending to like tease what's up next. So then they have to like, wrap up all the storylines, all the characters got to talk to each other again, got to reconnect, which, if you really wanted to end it, you could have ended it like Empire Strikes Back, everybody's heart's broken, all that kind of stuff. What I mean? Like, I just feel like they didn't take that next step that could have been taken to like, but I'm not complaining about the runtime in general for the series, because it was great. It was great runtime. I think overall the pacing was really good, and they had a lot to wrap up to, and I thought they landed it overall.
Do you feel like all the storylines lived up to each other? Like they were all equally engaging?
I mean, obviously, like people have been memeing online, like about the Mike and Will storyline and Jonathan storyline, like how that's been like, the algorithm just, probably didn't like those 3 characters. Like the fan votes didn't like those 3 characters or whatever. And that definitely like was the most underwhelming like part or whatever, because they're in a whole different location. But you know, otherwise, like it didn't like stand out. I still thought it was like amusing. I thought ultimately, you know, I think the last two episodes definitely redeemed that side of the storyline when they were able to put 11 in the pizza freezer thingy. But it was a little whatever. But at the end of the day, like, you know, so it's gonna be hit or miss. Like, you can't have everything, can't be a hit. I think the Russian storyline was great, you know, with Hopper and Winona Ryder. I thought that storyline was great. I thought the storyline with Max and Lucas and the evil kids, like, who were trying to not evil, but like the Bible thumping crazy kids, yeah, who were trying to like hunt after them. I thought that was a really good storyline too. So there's a lot of great storylines. Everything can't be a home run hit out the park, you know, when it's like 6 or 7 storylines going on all at once.
Who do you feel is the standout now that the season is over? Like, who stole the season?
Steve, season wise, what do you
Yeah.
wait, first of all, what do you think? Like, do you think the pacing was like too long, or
No, I mean, I was asking you, bro. Now play.
uh,
No, I feel like it was. I love, you know me, man. I love long pacing. I love when, stories are let to breathe, and you can let characters talk, and there could be pauses, and there doesn't have to be a quick cut scene. Like, I hate like just cutting in the middle of like an emotional moment, and I hate just like moving the camera away from an emotional moment. And I think the Duffer Brothers do a really good job as far as like giving you an emotional, impactful scene and letting it stay there for a little bit, letting it like kind of like you know cook a little more, and not just take it off the pot right away. So I don't mind that at all. The only thing for me was the storylines itself. I don't know if they were necessarily worthy of all that time. For example, I hate Papa, everything having to do with him. I was like, bro, 7 episodes with him. I don't know if I can handle it. And it's just like him, and he's like, 11, let me tell you this long speech. And I'm like, bro, I don't care, bro. Just die. Just die. Like, that's an example of something that it has nothing to do with 11, just everything to do with him. And I was just like, bro, I don't care about this guy, about like what he means to her. And like, I just don't. And I know I should, but I don't. That's one example of like a storyline that I was like, just you can cut that out and I won't be mad. Don't you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my take on the runtime.
yeah.
But as far as character wise, I feel like that's what makes Stranger Things, which is why I'm asking you,
Mhm.
as far as like a season as a whole, who really just like took this season?
Man, there's a couple people. I mean, I'm gonna, I mean, I think there's an
You can name a
obvious
few.
pick. There's an obvious pick. There's an obvious pick, which I'm gonna get to, but the less obvious pick I'm gonna say is Erica Sinclair. You know, I thought she really stepped it up this season. In terms of in previous seasons she was kind of an annoyance. Like in the very first season, she was like not even a character. You know, she was just like really just like poking at Lucas's side. But like as the thing develops, she actually ends up becoming like part of the crew. And by the end of it, like, you know, I was actually like kind of worried when homeboy was chasing her. Like when that crazy white dude was chasing her, was like, I'm gonna break your arms. I'm like, yo, nah, man, don't touch this little black girl, man. I'm about to go crazy on this TV. And then she came in, and obviously, you know, she just played a bigger part this season that I thought was really fun. And stole a lot of the scenes. I also think, but I think the main answer is probably Eddie. You know what I mean? Eddie
Oh, really?
was a new character that came in. You know, new season for creation. You could say I'm at the very beginning, and I think he had a very powerful arc. You know, from the end. In the beginning, you know, he was just a measly dude. He had that whole thing about I've been in school for 7 years or whatever. Like I've been in here for this. Like this is gonna be my year or whatever. And then it finally ends up like with that emotional part at the end where he actually sacrifices himself for the team. So I thought it was a really powerful moment. I thought it was really good overall. So I love Eddie's character overall in the season.
Eddie is definitely a standout for sure, and it's crazy how Stranger Things does this thing where they introduce new characters, make you like them, and then
And
kill
kill
them
him
off
off.
at the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah.
Eddie is definitely top tier, though. I definitely feel like he's up there as far as one-off characters or one season off characters or two season off characters if you want to count like two seasons. So
Was
he's
he in
definitely.
he wasn't in another season though, was
He
he? Or
wasn't. No, 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 no. But I'm
no.
saying, like, even if you compare other characters that were in two seasons, I still think he might be better than a
Who
couple.
who who's homie that was in Lord of the Rings that was got killed off, who got ate by the
Yeah,
dogs.
Sean Astin, I think his name is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that dude, he was good too. He was a good character, one season character.
yeah. I still think Eddie though. I think Eddie to me definitely took the cake.
Yeah.
Maybe because he was younger, and maybe because he was misunderstood too. I think that was like a big key portion of this season, was the framing of the Satanic Panic, Dungeons and Dragons, misunderstanding between the church, the school, the kids, the nerd culture of that era, and how they took that and used that against these kids and used it to kind of frame these murders. How'd you feel how they handled that entire aspect in this season?
Well, I thought that was dope because that's something that's real life. Like that's not a joke. That's what people really thought was happening back in 86, 87. And I mean, honestly, to today, when I remember when
Yeah,
I was growing up, I couldn't even watch like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. Like
I
that was
couldn't either.
strictly off the
Yeah,
books. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even a question. Promoted like witchcraft and all that. This and
yeah,
that's something that a lot of people in that grew up in like very religious households,
yeah.
that's a reality. So I definitely see where that point is coming from, and I also see the point of like this whole evolution towards like mob violence, because this isn't the first like movie recently that I feel like that's addressed this. If everybody who's seen the absolute amazing classic Halloween Kills, that's a movie recently that addressed mob violence, and people going after like this crazy killer like for no reason. There's an
For
older
no
movie.
reason.
Well, no, but they were going after the wrong person. Like you saw
Oh, okay.
Halloween Kills, right? You saw
I
Halloween
didn't
Kills,
see
right?
it. I never saw it.
Okay. Oh, you gotta. Oh man. We still gotta do the commentary for that. There's an old William Shatner movie that like also like deals with like this like weird motivation, this weird like mob violence that's like racially motivated. I'm trying to like pull. I think it's called The Invaders, if I'm not mistaken. It's by Roger Corman, but it's most underrated one of the most underrated films of all time. But I'm saying that to say that this whole idea of like a crowd getting angry over a complete misunderstanding is like, it's not necessarily like the newest theme, but I think it's a cool theme that hasn't been like explored a lot. And I think that's like something that I think elevated this. I think like the hysteria around the mythos, because the it's very opposite to what the whole show's philosophy is, right? Because the show very much takes Dungeons and Dragons seriously. It very much takes kids' imagination seriously. It takes toys seriously. It takes like all of their names for their creatures are derived from Dungeons and Dragons characters. All of their weapons are like basically like toy weapons, like the whole like trash can with the nails on top of it. Like that's basically like flamethrowers. Like this is a very kid show, and then they have these speeches where grown adults like talk to kids like this is the one important mission that you're gonna like have to go on, like you have to risk your life. Like they will actually talk to kids that way. Like that would never happen, but it takes the kids aspect very seriously. And this whole like anti D&D like very Christian like mindset is very opposite towards that. So I thought it was a really good aspect to explore in this. And I'm sorry, the movie was called The Intruder, by the way. The Intruder, 1962, by starring William Shatner, directed by Roger Corman. Y'all gotta check it out. Really good film.
Yeah, I feel like it's done a lot in media. We've seen these kind of stories as far as misunderstandings and how they can, go after the wrong person, kind of mob mentality. Yeah, it's definitely something that's been seen a lot. But I like what you said though, because it kind of introduces the concept to newer generations. Because I feel like a lot of kids watch Stranger Things, like a lot of like Gen Z, like 15-year-olds watch Stranger Things, and I feel like they didn't even know that this was a real thing that happened in America in the
Mm,
1980s,
mm,
and seeing it happen in real life, and especially happen to a character that they happen to like Eddie, who is a likable character and who does get demonized literally to the very end, even in death. Like I kind of like that even in death they never redeemed him. Like there was never like a town hall speech where they said Eddie was like no, like everyone still thinks he's evil, and that's kind of like a shitty way to go. And I feel like that kind of concept is a really important thing that the Duffer Brothers wanted to include to show you how sad that is. It's very sad at the end when you see his uncle's reaction to Dustin telling him that story. So I definitely feel like that was an important aspect for sure. Yeah, I felt like Eddie was a highlight. I feel like everyone else was kind of spliced throughout the seasons as far as like no one really got too much to do until like maybe the finale. Like Steve got a little bit, unlike season 2 where I feel like Steve got a lot more. And then I feel like Robin got very little, Nancy got very little, but then her moments at the end were cool. Lucas got very little, but his moments at the end were cool.
Lucas got a lot, man. I
Not
like
at the,
his.
in the middle. I felt like he was just kind of there. I was like, oh, Lucas is just there. But
Well,
at
in the
the
middle,
end, at the final 3, 4 episodes, I was like, okay, here we go.
nah.
We're seeing more of him.
I thought Lucas had like a very like deep journey too, because he really did have. He went from hitting that game-winning shot at the very
Yeah,
beginning of the season. By the way, who knew he had pull-up skills like that, right?
yeah.
So he hits
I mean,
that
he's got the
game-winning
flat
shot.
top, bro.
Yeah, he got the flat top. He's going for like the Will Smith, like the Eddie Murphy like style back in those days. But he hits the shot. He's very popular. He's starting to like achieve his goals, but he's starting to realize that his is contradictory to his friends. So like even the part in the middle where he is just kind of in the background with like hanging around the basketball team, he still has those moments where he's like talking to Dustin, like he's like kind of diverting Jason and those other people away from the squad. And I think that's pretty proactive. I think it's proactive and dope in the sense that like he was like playing both sides, and that is almost what antagonized Jason even more. Like that's what made Jason even matter, and that's what kind of ends up fueling that like psychotic like rampage even further. So I
At
thought,
the end.
I thought that was even like a cooler when they ended up scoring up at the end, like going deuces, like fighting mano a mano. I thought that was like a good moment too, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good moment for sure, and I definitely felt like it was a realistic fight. Seeing it's an upperclassman fighting a lower classman as far as like age, because I feel like Jason's old. I think Jason's a
Yeah,
senior.
he's a senior.
Um,
Yeah.
and it definitely felt like, all right, he has the advantage at first, but then Lucas kind of comes back once
Mm,
he sees Max in danger.
mm,
Can we just jump to that, Matt? Can we just jump to Max?
yeah.
Um,
Sad.
Max had a lot in this season. She did the
She did have a lot.
entire episode 4. She was probably my standout if I'm being honest. But she had that moment in episode 4, obviously escaping Vecna's mind curse, and then coming out of it with running up that hill, and then coming back to it. But then when she was going back in the finale and dying, how do you feel about this, man? Because if I'm being real, I'm gonna be real. I cried. I cried like a little kid, man. Seeing Max die and seeing Lucas crying and Caleb's performance and Sadie's performance wrecked me. Like wrecked me. I was like heartbroken. And then she comes back and I was like, "What?" And I don't mind her coming back, but I think it's the question mark that kind of bugged me, where it's like the whole like she's in a coma, she might wake up, she might not wake up. Like that's the part that I was like, "Really?" Like
Yeah,
if you're
she's
going to go
clearly gonna wake up. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna go like full like Ray healing Rise of Skywalker style, like that's what 11
I
was
love it.
doing. I was like, okay, I'm cool with this if they say, suddenly 11 unlocks this new ability, straight up Star Wars style, straight up D&D style, unlocks it and just says, you know what, I have healing powers. Boom. I would not be mad at that. I would have been like, okay, cool. But it wasn't clear. It was like she's in a coma, she might still be dead. And I was like, why? At least go full like healing powers Ray, Rise of Skywalker or something. But I don't know. How'd you feel about Max dying and then later at the end kind of coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she's like gonna be like dead. I definitely think she's like gonna come back blind, cripple, like all these other
Really?
like kind of things. Yeah, yeah. It's
She's
not.
just
She's
gonna be unmobile?
yeah. I mean, she said at the end, I can't see, I can't feel anything. So
No, but
I
that's
kind of
what I'm
got
saying.
that in a
Yeah.
sense, like she's might be like. I mean, she felt like it felt like she was dying, but it also felt like she might literally being like one of those like paralysis kind of like people going for you, like wheelchair bound. Because I mean, I think that's kind of reflective of like, she was a very skateboard kid, right? Like her,
Yeah.
she grew up a lot on skateboards and stuff like that. Wheels are always kind of be her thing. I feel like that's definitely going to be like part of that like storyline for her going forward.
That's a good point.
Um, but I definitely think it was a little cheap to like
Yes.
almost kill her mid-season and then bring her back and then almost kill her again and then
Yes.
still bring her back. Like, come on, like we're getting into the Loki territory of
Yeah, and I
like,
was like crying and I'm like, bro, what the hell? I wasted
uh,
these tears for nothing.
right. Yeah, I knew as soon as she didn't do like the full like clickety clackety, like as soon as they didn't go full tilt with that, then I knew like she wasn't
No,
dead
but when
dead.
Lucas was holding her and he was crying, were
Yeah.
you not crying, bro? Come on.
I knew where it was going. I knew where it was
Oh
going. You
man,
know,
you're cold.
yeah. It's these teen shows, man. I know exactly. And these shows, it definitely starts to feel this show definitely starting to feel like more and more of a teen show, but it feels like the most high class, like elevated teen show like of all time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
definitely like not like they reference Fast Times at Ridgemont High a lot. It's really like Fast Times meets like Star Wars or something epic, but like with really nice cameras and really good effects. Like, and that's also something I want to commend on this season too. Like, for as epic as if people were talking about, oh, each episode had like a $30 million budget. Yeah, we saw the money on the screen for sure. We definitely saw the money. That end of episode 8 when 11 like controls the helicopter and throws it down at the
yeah,
cars, and we
that
just get
costs
that
money.
giant like
That's a lot of
explosion.
money.
And that wasn't no CGI. I'm telling you,
That
like
was
that doesn't
not.
look like no CGI. Like
That looked real.
I tell you what CGI looks like, and I tell you what like live action looks like. That was live action. That looked good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was an explosion. So I definitely feel like they so I definitely feel like I commend it. It really felt like a level up, like in terms of the spectacle, in terms of the actual
Filmmaking.
visuals. Yeah, the filmmaking. It didn't, and that's the thing with the pacing. Like it would have felt bad if this was like bad filmmaking, right? If this was like
True.
poorly directed or like poorly edited and
acted.
stuff of that. Yeah, poorly acted. But all around it was like really good stuff. So when it does come to like the slow conversations, it's not just some no name whatever, like just putting the camera and letting some randoms talk. It's actually characters you care about, directed in a way that matters.
Yeah, in a way that's useful, in a way that's fun, unique, uh, very frenetic. I like the sound design throughout the season too. Like it's like the perfect combo of like 80s schlock action adventure. Like every time there's like a hit or a slap. I don't know if you noticed this throughout because I rewatched it a little bit just a little earlier. But anytime there's like there's a scene where Joyce is like hitting Yuri and she's like, "You told me you had a plane," and there's like an actual smacking sound like out of like straight up like a comedy, like a like a smacking sound. And then there's like the intercutting between making the pizza, and you can hear the like the spinning sound, and it's just like very silly sound effects, but it's played for laughs, and it's also played in a kind of a fun way as far as like the intercutting and the editing. I thought it's fun. I thought it worked.
It is very fun when it has moments like that. I will say the sound design is very modern in the sense that like every single moment has to be like a zoom or a boom, like a random like little bass hit moment. I could really tell because I got like like if you have speakers like and you're watching like on a TV, you could really tell. But it's like every single scene is like a random like zoom boom, like a random
Yep.
like bass hit like in the bottom of it.
I
Like
love
just
that.
after that emptying out, which
I
is
think
like
that's awesome.
that's a very contemporary like Instagram like TikTok like transition, or like when people close the door, it goes a very like zoom boom, like a very like kind of riser builder, kind of thing like that. So I definitely felt they had classic sound effects in there too, but it was very modern in its like design too. So it
Yeah,
was
every single thing, whether I don't know, to me it was very it's very Edgar Wright, right? Where it's very much like whoosh, whoosh, like curtain pull.
yeah.
Open the chest, and then the what's his face? Hopper opens the chest, and it's like like everything had like a sound effect or a sound design to it. And then
But it was like the
pulls the
most
gun. It's like everything was very frenetic.
dramatic, the most
Yeah,
dramatic.
I love it. I
and
was like, this is it makes it fun. It makes it exciting. It makes it I don't know, it makes it different because it makes it kind of like cheesy, but cheesy on purpose. And I kind of like that they're kind of, staying in their lane when it comes to like the 80s ridiculous kind of action comedy that they're kind of going for. So I appreciate that.
I think it's. I mean, I definitely think it's cheesy. I
No,
definitely like.
but I think it's
I
meant
don't
to
love
be.
it.
I definitely think it's
Yeah,
meant to be.
I
You
mean,
don't like it? Oh, I think it's
no.
really.
I think
I
it's
like
very
it.
like, and I just think it's very like easy. Like I think it's like the easiest. Like, oh, how do we make it sound? It's also like, how do we make it sound expensive too? Like, how do we make everything like sound?
I don't think
really,
that's.
like,
I think it's
that's-
purposefully made to be cheesy, like made to be laughs. Like I don't
But
think anyone is supposed to take it seriously when they're taking salt out of a cooler or meat out of out of an ice freezer, and they're
Nah,
doing all these
nah.
crazy sound effects. Like I think that's just funny.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they like wave it, when they literally are like slow. This is like this is a flashlight, right? They'll have the flashlight do like this,
Yeah,
and then as the flashlight does this, it'll be like zoom. Like
yeah,
what? Why did the flashlight do that? Like why did that just happen? Like
because it's funny.
it's not funny. They're just talking. Like Steve and Nancy are just talking right now.
I think it's hysterical. I laughed every time.
Like why? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I laughed. I thought it was hysterical. I thought they did it for laughs. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's supposed to be serious, and they're trying to do something serious. But I thought I took it for laughs, and I thought it was hysterical. I thought it was fun, man. I like the whole like flamethrower, getting your weapons, getting ready, playing that one song from Top Gun. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, the guitar stuff was
The
cool.
Danger Zone song, that song.
That was Danger Zone for real.
No, in episode 8, it was Danger Zone.
Yeah, that was what they're doing. Is that really what that song was?
I think so, yeah. And then in episode 9, the finale, like the freaking Eddie guitar scene. I thought that was sick. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like I legit got into it, and I was like, man, this is gonna be corny as hell. And still, even if it was corny as hell, I was like, this is awesome. And this
Yeah,
song is dope.
yeah,
As soon as he started shredding, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is whatever.
yeah.
The bats come, but as soon as the drums kick in, dun 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 dun, 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 and I was like, okay,
All
this
right.
is fun. It's fun. It's very much a fun scene. It's a good needle drop
Yeah.
to include that in there. So I thought that was really cool. Um, but for me, I feel like overall as a season, you have to see where you're going in a show, and you see kind of where we're going with Vecna. How did you feel about Vecna as a villain, as far as like not necessarily retconning what was before, because we never really got too many details, but kind of explaining like, oh, he was actually the Mind Flayer. He was actually controlling the Mind Flayer in season 2. He was actually inside of Billy in season 2, or season 3, I mean. And then he was doing this whole thing in the past. He talked to 11. He was controlling all these people. Like all this time, it was Vecna. It was Vecna all along, kind of thing. How did you feel about that? Explaining a little bit more of the Upside Down.
Yeah, I mean they definitely I mean I didn't think it was like retconning either because that's what all these sequels and all this stuff kind of
Yeah,
do, you know. So
they just
Bond
set up a
does.
little bit and then explain it later.
Right, right. But I
Yeah,
will say they definitely did retcon season 2, episode 7, I think it was. The one when 11 goes on her like side quest journey and meets the other
yeah. Where is
numbers.
that?
Yeah, like there's literally a whole other numbers that were there, like who didn't get any like shine on this one. Like what's
Yeah,
going on?
they'll come in the
Um,
finale, in the season 5 series finale.
yeah, no, they're never going back to that ever again, unfortunately. Which is funny because I thought that was like actually a pretty good
I
episode.
was gonna say, I think we were the only people that liked that episode. I liked that episode. I thought it was
Yeah,
fun. Yeah,
yeah, that was a good one. But I yeah, with this, what were we talking about?
Vecna.
I forgot. Vecna. I like Vecna's design. I like what Vecna was like all about, and I like how he was revealed to be the number one,
You
the
like that?
Eddie,
Okay.
that Henry character. I just definitely, I do think like, they. I knew as soon as he fell out that window and was burning a little bit, and we just saw the burn mark, like he's definitely going to come back for the next season. It's going to be more powerful than ever. Things going to end up working out.
That bummed
Um,
me out, man. I can't lie.
yeah,
As soon as Will said it, it was Will who said it, right? I think it was Will,
yeah,
because it wasn't really clear at the end. I thought
uh,
he just turned to ash and he died.
uh,
Um, but once Will said, "Oh, I think Vecna's dead," Mike said that. Mike said, "Oh, I think Vecna's dead," and Will's like, "He's not dead," and I was like, "What? Then what was all this for?"
right, right,
Jesus Christ! You
right,
guys threw everything at him.
right.
How did he survive that?
Like
Um,
why didn't Nancy immediately run downstairs and just give it like a couple, like kind of the
Oh, what
situation
I
going on,
wanted was
like
I wanted Steve to get that axe and hit him in the head with it. Like
yeah,
split his head with that axe.
yeah,
That's what I was like, "Oh, bro, if Steve comes in at the very end and like right in the head, just make sure it's a headshot."
yeah.
That's what I wanted to be so bad. But kind of going back to like, future season 5 and Vecna and all this. Uh and Max, kind of going back to Max too. The thing about Max that kind of gets me is that fine. They brought her back. They did all this. I cried because I thought she died. That's fine. But in Jujutsu Kaisen, when a character gets possessed by a curse, so the main character is called Yuji, and he's possessed by Sukuna in this anime, and he possesses him. And there's scenes where his hand gets chopped off or his body part gets broken, and the curse that gets inside him or the demon that gets inside him heals the body. So I was thinking, what if Vecna heals Max by going inside Max and doing the same thing she did to Billy? He did to Billy in season 3, where he goes inside Billy, but it like heals her body and like fully, like her eyes are everything is repaired. So by the time they pull him out or he gets out, it's, Max is fully healed. So like that's my only thinking as far as like I still think she's gonna get healed. I don't think she's gonna be completely paralyzed in a wheelchair and blind and just being like this the whole time, just straight up like propped up on the side, just like wheeled around. Like I doubt that. I think she's gonna get healed somehow. Either 11 getting healing powers or like Vecna healing her by going inside her and possessing her. What do you think about my theory?
I mean, I don't know if Vecna's going inside of Max. I definitely think he's going back inside of Will, or going inside of Will. Like, I think they teased it so many times with Will, like, kind of looking and being like, kind of like glaring off screen. And at the end, especially when he kind of looks back and kind of sees the cloud, like off camera. So I definitely think Will's probably the most likely to get it, to bite it, if anybody.
That's a good point. I definitely feel like there's a connection to Will. That'll be there. Who do you feel is like, who was the best actor this season? Who like acted their ass off? Like who took the show?
Ooh, best actor. Man. Well, for one,
like if you're giving an Emmy to someone.
Well, first of all, shout out to my dude David Harbour, man. I mean, he was looking really good in this season.
He was looking rough, bro. He looked rough.
I mean,
it looked like he actually went through a gulag.
Yeah, nah.
Like homie looked, even his voice was like cracking the whole time. I don't know if you caught that, but his voice was always like kind of raspy, and I was like, damn, bro, like, what did they make you do throughout the show?
Right,
like he just got off a treadmill, and they were like, all right, you ready? And he's like, I'm ready, let's go.
Right. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, he definitely like had a lot going on. I definitely also, I also say I don't know about Emmy, but definitely, Max, Sadie who played Max. I don't know her full name.
Sadie Sink.
Yeah, her. She was really good. I definitely think most improved, not Emmy award, even most improved was definitely Maya Hawke, who played Robin. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely thought her character was like not even good. I thought she was like annoying last season.
Really?
So yeah, I didn't think she was that much. And then she really started off annoying this season. I'm like, yo, she's like burning out her car real quick. And then, but by the end of it, I kind of got more attached to her. So I definitely say like, if there's a most improved, like I'll probably give it to her.
What do you think about Caleb as Lucas?
Oh yeah, he was great too. Yeah. Like I said, like he had a great journey. He had an amazing journey. Millie Bobby Brown was good too.
She's always good.
She was really good. I don't know if she had like the most to do either in this. She was kind of in that Goku kind of training lab situation.
Yeah.
Which I thought was dope. Like I like any kind of story where like any character kind of has to like be off to the side for a minute and go through their training lab and then come back like super strong. Like I think that's super dope. So I like that she did that. That was pretty cool. But
I liked it too, but I felt like I just didn't like anything surrounding it. I didn't like going back in time in the memories. I didn't really like, again, I said Papa. I hate that character. And then I just felt like it was too long. It was too long in there. Spending way too much time in there. And I felt like we could have sped that up a little bit more. But yeah, she's always great, man. I still feel like Millie Bobby Brown is definitely underrated. The first 3-4 episodes with her getting bullied and stuff, I felt like that was really, really well done, because she really kind of sold the terror of high school bullies, being like horrified by that and being antisocial and all that kind of stuff was really good. Homie who plays Will, Noah Schnapp, he was really good too. I felt like his character brought a lot more as well, and I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of him too. So yeah, man, I feel like performances always come in clutch. I feel like the filmmaking comes in clutch in not season episode 4. I feel like that episode really felt like it was delivering a lot when it came to filmmaking, when it came to the design of the Upside Down, when it came to the sound design and everything that was coming with it. I thought that was really clutch as well. Everything that came there, man, was really good. And obviously the finale was just really long, but just really well paced as well, with each character getting their own thing. I just feel like we're at a point now in the show where if we're gonna see someone die, we're gonna have to make it not a new character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're at a point now where I feel like we've had enough of that formula as far as like one and done, one and done, one and done, one and done. That now it's gonna have to be like someone really significant that we lose at the end. And I'm not the only one who's feeling this way. I feel like a lot of people are like kind of afraid that their favorites are gonna die in the next season. Uh, and I feel like it won't be the kids because I don't think we're gonna lose any of the kids. I think it'll be the older kids. So either Nancy, Jonathan, or Steve, or the adults, Murray, Hopper, and Joyce, or just Joyce and Hopper. But out of those 5, who do you think is a goner for season 5?
Definitely Murray. Definitely Murray.
Murray, because he's also newish.
Yeah.
Murray doesn't count. So out of the OGs, Hopper, Joyce, Steve, Jonathan, Nancy.
I'm probably going Jonathan on this. You know what I mean? I think Jonathan is looking like.
Could
I
be
don't know.
Jonathan.
Sorry to give the whole curse to the Briars family with Will and with homie, but
Especially after this season, because after this season, he barely did anything, and then he had one emotional moment at the end. And when you see that, you're like, oh, that could mean that they kind of ran out of stuff to write for you.
Right.
They're just like, we kind of ran out of stuff to write. Sorry, man. You're just a stonehead, a stoner, and at the end, you have an emotional moment with your brother. That's kind of it. We don't have anything else to write for you, so you're done.
Especially now, especially when Steve and Nancy like have their like romance kind of like rekindling or kindling, and then
it's an easy way out.
yeah. It's tough for Jonathan.
But I want to be with Jonathan, but he's dead.
Yeah. I don't think Joyce is. I don't think Joyce will be dead, and I don't think Hopper would die either.
Yeah.
But I definitely. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it'll be one of those 3 kids. It'll Steve or Jonathan. I think. I don't think Nancy. I think Nancy's safe, but Steve or Jonathan.
Also, Enzo, shout out to Enzo. He was low-key funny, like all the way around. The new Russian guy, who was like the
Yuri?
person. No, Enzo, like not Yuri.
Enzo, yes.
Yeah, Enzo. Yuri was. I hated Yuri, man. I just wish
I thought Yuri was hysterical.
Nah, I was like,
I love that guy,
dude. Already, like, if I was Enzo, I would have been like, stop playing with me already. But I didn't like Yuri, but Enzo was funny. I really liked him because like. Also, I thought it's just so ironic. It's so ironic that Russia, you can't even play Stranger Things in Russia right now. Netflix isn't even in Russia.
Yeah.
And it's literally like not even, it's almost half of where this show was like set, like for the season. So it's like, dang, they can't even cash in on that Russian cheese. They also had like a real popular horror show. I think it was called Dark. That was, I think, also Russian, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's German.
Oh, German? I don't know.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing. But they shout out to Russia for having like a good character out of other bad, representation that they had in that.
Yeah, and so obviously the guy from last season, Alexei, I think his name was.
Who's he?
Alexei was the guy who likes Slurpees from 7-Eleven. He was a Russian scientist. Remember him?
I remember him. No. Did he die?
He died, yeah. And then
Yeah.
Yuri as well. Yeah, man, shout out to Russia. Even though I don't think they're necessarily kindly portrayed in this show.
No, they're not. No, it's literally only one good Russian and then one medium tier with Yuri, and then everybody else is bad. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What do you think of? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna see that scene. the scene nobody's gonna talk about that made me laugh out loud was when Enzo called was when Enzo was like, "Can I call America?" And they're like, "Okay, like what's the number?" And then he gives him the number, he calls, he hangs up. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, well, "How do you think this works? This is Soviet Russia. Like they gonna call me back. It's gonna be 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days." Like it's gonna call. That was the funniest scene to me for some reason. I was just dying. Like, yeah,
that was funny. That was great because the way they cut it too was really well done.
Yeah.
He's like, well, how do you think this works, man? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Argyle was the other new guy. What'd you think of Argyle and Stoner, the Stoner comedy that he came with?
Yeah, he was cool. I mean, he didn't have much to do, but I love that he was a pineapple on pizza pan. You know what I mean? Love that.
Yeah.
Pineapple.
That was like a major plot of this whole season.
Yeah.
I was thinking of you the whole time, bro.
Yeah.
The fact that they were like forcing Mike to eat it, and he kept saying "try before you deny," like that was his motto.
Right.
That was funny. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it shows a different side to the '80s kind of vibe that they going with like a stoner comedy kind of vibe with his character. What I liked about him was the fact that he was so gung-ho about everything, and that he was always like in it. Like they were like, dude, this is what's happening. You know, my girlfriend has these powers, crazy scientist, crazy military experiment. This is crazy. You're going to help us. And he's like, yeah, let's do it, man. And he's just he never questioned it. I love that he wasn't like a denier or that he ever questioned it. I think that was a really cool way to introduce a character, because I always feel like it's kind of annoying to always be like, it's annoying, but it's kind of necessary. But I always feel like in every kind of superhero show, there's always like, dude, I have powers. Like, no, you don't. You're just imagining. Like, the powers aren't real. Like, all this kind of stuff. But he just was like in it. He's like, I believe you. Right. I know you have powers. I thought that was funny. I thought him, when everyone was like grabbing weapons and like building the ship, and he's just making pizza. I was cracking up so hard because they were like intercutting as if it's like an action prep scene, and everyone's like and like grabbing weapons, and he's like spinning the pizza dough and like putting the cheese on. I thought that was hysterical. I was cracking up so hard. I thought that, and then the scene where he's looking for Nina, and he keeps insisting that it's a lady named Nina. And he's like, bro, Nina, she's somewhere out here, bro. You gotta find her, man. And then he goes out there and he's like, Nina! I'm insisting that it's like a lady named Nina. Yeah. I thought that was a funny joke too. And I don't know how much of that was him or that was the script itself. Because a lot of it felt like it was improvised by that actor. That actor that we've seen before. What's that show called?
The Flash?
The mockumentary show.
Are we doing Shadows?
No, the mockumentary show on Netflix about the schools. He's in that show. With you remember that show? I forgot what it's called.
Oh, American Vandal.
Yes. He's in that show. You remember him?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. He plays one of the friends of that one guy in that show. So he's a funny guy for sure. So yeah, man. I mean, overall, Stranger Things, we've talked about it for years, RB3. This is what is holding Netflix together, in my opinion. This is like the Netflix staple show. Like, if you're going to name one show from Netflix, this is what it is. Do you feel like Netflix has enough juice as far as, you know, when it comes to their prices, when it comes to their stocks, when it comes to everything that's going on with the company right now, to just keep banking on Stranger Things for one more season and hope people stay on? Do you think that that's a viable business option?
Yeah, if they don't take 3 years to do it, you know what I mean? If the kids aren't like,
that's what I'm saying,
you know, college age by next time. So
by then, like, people cancel their Netflix.
Yeah, people aren't really like canceling Netflix. Like,
yeah, they are.
Some people is getting over exaggerated. You know what I mean? Like,
no, there's a lot of people, bro. It's expensive, bro.
I mean, but I think when they're gonna do other tiers and all that stuff. I hate when we get into show reviews and we start talking about business. Like, let's leave it at the show, man. Let's leave it at the show. Show was great.
But I'm saying, like, I think it's significant because
season 5 is gonna be good enough to where people are gonna want to come back, even if they cancel for a year. and then they're gonna come back to watch like the bingeable
Yeah.
season 5, and then cancel right after that. So
I think it's significant because Stranger Things, in my opinion, is the one thing that's keeping this whole thing together. Like Stranger Things is literally their bread and butter. They're like crazy huge show. Their Game of Thrones, their staple program. So I feel like that's a major portion of it. Uh, so
yeah, I
let's
do
see
wonder.
if they can keep banking on it.
I do think Netflix has a lot of other staple shows and a lot of other categories.
Yeah, there's a
that,
lot of other great shows. Yeah.
I do think like if they stop focusing on trying to make another like Stranger Things, or trying to make another like what was the one that they did Cowboy Bebop, like stop trying to make like some big IP or the Avatar live action, and just mainly focus on making like good stories. Like Stranger Things was literally like a discovery. They found out like out of nowhere, you know. So just find more stuff out of nowhere. That would be what I encourage, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and as much as it riffs on other property, it's still original IP. But I feel like they probably are banking too much on the other things too. Yeah, stop making like reality TV like super basic shows that cost no money and you spend all your time on it. Yeah, keep making stuff like this. But either way, guys, that was our thoughts and our review of Stranger Things, kind of all over the place. Sorry about that. But let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Let us know what was your favorite moment, your favorite character of the season. What did you think of season 4 as a whole? Where would you rank this season, RB3?
I would probably say it's like probably the best, if not second best.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, probably best. Yeah, probably say best. Yeah. Where'd you rank it?
I still love season 2, man. I think season 2 is awesome.
Yeah.
I think season 2.
It would probably be like between that one or this one. Yeah, I just know season 3 is not the highest. I know that one. So.
Season 3 was really good. I definitely felt like there was 1 or 2 episodes that I were okay. But yeah, either way, solid all the way around. Let us know in the comments down below, what do you think? You can follow me at Squad Leader Race. You can follow us at First Cut TMO. You can follow RB3 at Director RB3. Anything else you want to say, RB3, to the Stranger Things fans out there?
Be sure to check out Bench Battle on Fandango's podcast network. Both of us are going to be on the next episode. We're going to be talking about this very thing, Stranger Things. You know, it's going to get strange. We're going to be talking about things. So it's going to be a good time. So be sure to tune in.
Make sure to check that out, guys. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're going to be peacing out. Peace.